2 months had passed since the divorce, yet the silence in my apartment still pressed against me like a weight I couldn't lift. The days blended together. Mornings felt hollow, and nights stretched endlessly, filled with echoes of a life that no longer existed. I had stopped feeling angry. What lingered now was exhaustion, a quiet, heavy kind of emptiness that left me questioning where everything had gone wrong. Then, one rainy evening, a sudden knock broke the stillness. I wasn't expecting anyone. Since the divorce, visitors had been rare, and the sound startled me. When I opened the door, I froze. Standing there, holding a dripping umbrella, was Emma, my ex-wife's younger sister. Her eyes darted away from mine, her shoulders tense, as though she wasn't sure she should even be there. "Can I come in?" she asked quietly. I hesitated, but stepped aside. Seeing her felt strange. During my marriage, Emma had always been polite but distant, a familiar face, never a close one. Now, her presence carried the ghost of what once was, a reminder of everything that had fallen apart. We sat across from each other, the rain pattering softly against the window. She said she hadn't come to cause trouble, that she had something to tell me. Something I deserved to know. My chest tightened as I listened, thinking the story of my marriage had already ended. I was wrong. Emma confessed that my ex-wife's betrayal had begun long before our divorce. She had tried to stop her sister, tried to make her see how wrong it was, but her words had fallen on deaf ears. I watched her struggle to speak, her voice trembling with guilt. I could see the burden she'd been carrying, the conflict between loyalty and conscience. I had always sensed lies, small cracks in the trust we shared, but I had never found proof. I walked away from that marriage quietly, believing that love had simply faded with time. But now, as Emma spoke, I realized my trust had been shattered long before the papers were signed. Anger rose inside me, not just at my ex-wife, but at myself for never seeing it.
For being blind.
Emma reached out, her hand resting gently on the table. "You didn't deserve what she did," she said softly. "I couldn't keep it from you anymore." Her honesty brought a strange mix of pain and relief. Pain for the betrayal that still burned, relief for finally having the truth laid bare. We talked for hours. She spoke of how her sister had changed, how selfishness had replaced love, how carelessness had driven people away. Even she had grown distant from her own blood, burdened by shame and disappointment. Before leaving, Emma apologized again. I thanked her, knowing how much courage it took to go against family. When the door closed behind her, I stood in silence, feeling something shift inside me. For months I had told myself that being calm, being the bigger person, was strength. But now it felt like weakness, a lie I'd used to bury the hurt. That night, sleep didn't come. I replayed every deceitful glance, every unexplained absence, every word that now carried new meaning. By morning, the storm inside me had turned into resolve. I got in my car and drove to her house. No plan, no words prepared, just the raw need to confront her. When she opened the door, surprise flashed across her face. I didn't let her speak. The anger that had been festering for months erupted. I told her everything I knew, everything Emma had revealed. My voice rose, breaking through the calm neighborhood air. Windows opened. Faces appeared. But I didn't care. She tried to defend herself, to twist the truth, but I didn't stop. I told her how she destroyed everything good we'd built, how her deceit had turned our love into a lie. Then she smirked and called me pathetic. Something inside me broke. I didn't touch her, but my words cut deep. I tore apart the illusion she had built, exposing her lies in front of anyone who cared to listen. By the time I walked away, she was in tears, pale, trembling, stripped of her pride. Driving home, I expected to feel free. I didn't. The silence that followed was heavier than before, not empty this time, but scorched. Like I had burned down the last piece of what once was us. Later that night, Emma texted. She said she wished I hadn't confronted her sister like that she hadn't wanted it to end in flames. I didn't reply. I thought I had been moving toward healing. But instead, I had torn open old wounds and lost more than I realized. My ex-wife's mask was gone, but so was my peace. What began as a knock on the door, a moment of truth, had dragged me back into the very darkness I thought I'd escaped. And for the first time, I wondered if some truths are better left unknown.